This is the end. My beautiful friends, the end. Of course, it's from The Doors. Oh, it's the end of the 2023 season. The clock is going to strike midnight finally. Oh, thank God. And then we can go through the father of where Giants are going to do this, the Giants are going to do that, the Giants are going to do this, and then nothing's going to happen that people think is going to happen because Joe Shane's not sitting there telling people, hey, listen, we're going to tell you our entire game plan at the Senior Bowl. Here's our draft plan right now. There you go. We're good. This is what we're doing. We got Big James in the house saying hit the like button and check out the new site. For those that do not know, check out Online Big Blue. No, what the hell's the name of the site? NewYorkGiantsLive.com. If you don't know it, we got a new site up. It's NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Right now, I'm actually watching the live stream on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Also, we have brand new articles, daily articles, written by yours truly, which coincide with each video. And if you're an OG member, you get all the videos early, and you will get all the articles early as well. You'll get sometimes up to a day. We got Patrick saying, let's go. Mr. McCormick said, what the blank, Tim, is going on? How's it going? It's going good, Mr. McCormick. All is well. Chris says, happy Super Bowl Sunday. Everyone, good morning, Tim. To Protect One says, Timmy, home. I'm not even really that interested in the Super Bowl. I'm really not. And it's because of the fact that I'm kind of tired of I want the 49ers to win. I'm not going to lie to you. I want the 49ers to win because I'm kind of tired of the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm not tired of the Kansas City Chiefs because of Taylor Swift, even though that is OGR Sports' favorite artist, as we all know. It's not the game I wanted to see. So there's nothing wrong with that it's not the game I wanted to see. But it's also the fact that, you kind of have to just, take it all with a grain of salt. And it is the last game of the season. We're going to go through a dearth of not having any games, to talk about. We don't even have the Pro Bowl anymore. We don't have anything anymore. So that's it. We got to go off to the Knicks. OG Knockout says, what's up, Tim? Blazin says, good day, Tim. Miguel says, how did John Feliciano go to San Francisco and say he is the anchor of the offensive line? He's not the anchor of the offensive line. And that's the thing with people just look at certain stats. And I kept telling people, can you exactly tell me how many snaps John Feliciano has played for the 49ers? And that's what I keep telling people. Could you just give me, that wealth of information? And people are like, well, he's having a career year. It's like he's not having a career year. He's how many? And he's started in 7 games. He's played 16, started 7. Okay, he has played in 48% of the snap count. So he's played almost in less than half of what he played for the Giants. He's played 478 snaps. 478 snaps. That's all John Feliciano has played in 7 starts or 16 games. Well, somehow he has solidified and anchored the line of the 49ers. Emmanuel, what's up, Emmanuel? It says, good morning, everyone. It's Tim, everyone in the chat. Jeff Newman says, Timmy. Few Masters says, hello, everyone. Blazing, not watching. I have no dog in the fight, but I hope San Francisco wins. We got the Joe Rev saying good morning. Fellas in the Skyline saying good morning, everyone. There's a lot of speculation now that the Bears are going to go quarterback, that they're going to go Caleb, that they're going to dump Justin. And I love it because there's also a lot of speculation that they're going to keep him. That Ryan Poles is playing this close to the vest. And I keep seeing this and I keep saying to myself, if I'm the Giants and it's true, is Justin Pugh's 40. He's Justin. I love that. That is classic. Chris, Chris gets the sound effect of the day.
What? Over? Did you say over? Nothing is over until we decide it is. Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? Hell no!
That's the sound
effect. Forget it, he's rolling.
That's the sound effect of the day, because that is a great line. But if I'm the Giants and Justin Fields is truly available, I know, and I understand some people's logic that you don't want to get into a quarterback that's really only got 1 year left in his contract, even though he's got 2 years because he got the 5th-year option. And honestly, I keep telling people this. If you get a low-cost version of Justin Fields to compete with Daniel Jones and he beats out Daniel Jones and you pick up the 5th-year option, you renegotiate his contract at the 5th-year option and you lower that 5th-year option number, you kind of do like a Jalen Hurts. I mean, technically, professionally, what are you going to lose? You have a more athletic quarterback. You would have the potential for big play capability, and it would still allow you to go out there and get a wide receiver or an offensive lineman or 2 guards or a corner or a safety or a couple linebackers. But beyond that, it's going to work out perfectly. Everyone's like this. You can't draft a quarterback. I love this logic. This was my favorite logic I've been hearing people lately on Twitter. You can't draft a quarterback because you're in the middle of a rebuild. Don't most teams rebuild with a quarterback? You got a guy going into year 6. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got a guy going into year 6. And we're still having to say, well, we don't really know what we have with him because of the injuries, because of everything else. We don't know what we have. And then I love it because you have Brian Urlacher coming out with Justin Fields and saying, if Justin Fields isn't the guy in year 3, you got to get rid of him. No, we stick with our guy to year 6. And Justin Fields had a better 2023 and 2022 season. And the 2022 season he had was a lot less talent on the offensive line, the wide receivers, and the running backs and the tight ends. But that's okay. We got year 6 with Daniel Jones. And we're going to have year 6 with Daniel Jones because there's no way around it. There's no freaking way around it. You got a $68 million dead cap number. That's what I love when people are like, Shane and Dable are so committed to Daniel Jones. They have come out already and say when Daniel Jones is healthy, he is our starting quarterback. I got 68 million reasons why, if you even drafted the Messiah of all quarterbacks, Bo Callahan, that Daniel Jones would still be your quarterback. Because of the fact that you have a $68 million dead cap number. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere whatsoever. And even with Phil Simms coming out, the great venerable Phil Simms coming out and says, I still believe in Daniel Jones. I still believe in him. Look at my career. Well, Phil, I wasn't good till year 6. Well, Phil, let's take a look at your career. And I love you, Phil Simms. But you're like Strahan, you're like Howard Cross, you're like Carl Banks, you're like Tiki Barber, you're the ultimate homer. You were second in offensive rookie of the year to Otis Anderson back in 79. You played well leading up into 81, but injuries caused you to have these problems. You were leading the Giants to the playoffs in the 81 season when you got hurt and Bruner took over. You came back in 82, got hurt. You got benched in 83 by a decision that almost cost Bill Parcells his job. And when he went 3-12-1, when he went with Bruner, then you bust your thumb on the helmet of an eagle when you finally do get back into the game. And then in 84, you throw for 4,000 yards, which is not, which then was the first Giant quarterback to ever throw 4,000 yards again. So your your career was derailed by injuries, not poor play. You got a quarterback that can't stay in the pocket. You got a quarterback that doesn't go through his progressions. You got a quarterback that can't go through his reads. You got a quarterback who can't throw the ball deep. Even though he'll have 2 years ago, he had one of the best deep ball passes around. He was number 7 in the league, even though he only threw 13 passes. And he was 13 for 7. And then I love it because the next player had like 40 passes. And 2 of his big play passes were busted plays to Darius Slayton. And those were his only 2 touchdowns. So do you go Do you go wide receiver? We did a whole video yesterday. Won't you be my neighbor? Because I don't think Marvin Harrison is going to be there. I still have this feeling. I still have this thought. I still have this mindset. Maybe it's just a willful mindset that the Patriots are going to go wide receiver. I think they're going Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think they're going quarterback. I think they have this thought philosophy that they'll either trade back up or they have this thought that they can get a quarterback in the second round. I think they're going to go best talent available. And you're probably like, Tim, well, if they go best talent available, see, I'm always one step ahead. If they go best talent available, Tim, shouldn't the Giants go best talent available instead of just drafting by position? Because they always say you fail when you draft by position because it's a reach usually. And I keep thinking to myself, the Giants are in a rebuild within a rebuild after 3 years. Or going on 3 years now. We're in a rebuild within a rebuild. Within a rebuild. And you had two foundational pieces, allegedly, in Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. And because, you can't miss up 5 and 7, according to Joe Shane. But at the end of the day, you still don't have. You could go out and get the greatest wide receiver. You can go find Jerry Rice, Homer Jones, Terrell Owens, Tim Brown, all rolled up into one. And it won't freaking matter if you don't have anyone who can throw him wait for it, the ball. You could have the greatest.
You can't keep me cooped up in here, okay? I am a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
You gotta let the peacock fly, but the problem is this. If you clip the peacock's wings by not having a quarterback to throw the ball to the peacock, we'll never see the pretty flowers or the pretty feathers. Yes, when I write, I get very poetic. So I'm being very poetic today. For those that do not know, go to NewYorkGiantsLive.com. You can watch the live streams, all the videos, daily articles written by yours truly that coincide with the videos. You get all that shit early when you're an OG member. There's also a little chat box that you could text me in the chat box right on the website. Yeah, we are what they refer to as high tech. Kevin says, what's going on, Tim? Mr. Belford. Here's Johnny. I assumed you were doing that movie. Jeff says the Bears are truly holding their cards close. Because you have no fucking clue what's going on in Chicago. 1 minute, like I said, 1 minute you hear, we're getting rid of Justin Fields. Next minute, we love Justin Fields. Next minute, they're posting a tribute video. This is what I love about the Bears, how they're fucking with people. They post a tribute video about 2 weeks ago on their website about Justin Fields, and some people are like, "Oh, it's a farewell video," and then some people, and then I love it because then some people are like, "No, it's not a farewell video. It's a video because they're bringing him back." It's the ultimate mind F. It really is. I think we're getting Kirk Cousins or Justin Fields. I don't think we're getting Kirk Cousins. I think Kirk Cousins is going to want too much money. And if you're Kirk Cousins, do you want to come to this shit show? I mean, honestly, you're Kirk Cousins. You've milked the Minnesota Vikings for as much as you probably could. You're at the latter half of your career. If anything, he has the stats. He's never making the Hall of Fame. He's got 39,000 yards, 217 touchdowns, 110 interceptions. He's not making the Hall of Fame. And if you want to solidify your legacy, you probably want to try to get a Super Bowl. So Kirk Cousins isn't coming here. Protect says the DJ contract screwed the Giants, the potential to build a team. A huge blunder. Yeah, it was a huge blunder. And like I said, for all the people that were like, no, it's the greatest contract ever. And I kept saying if he fails, it was going to push you back 4 years. Some people said 5. I say 4 years. I'm going to push you back 4 years. because they didn't see the $22 million dead cap number. They didn't see the $11 million dead cap number. We've talked about it before. We talked about the quarterback. We talked about the salary cap buckets vis-a-vis position. We're not going to get into that again. But at the end of the day, yeah, it screwed the team. And then I loved when the Jalen Hurts contract came out. And they were like, oh, look, it's not such a bad deal compared to the Hurts deal. Howie Roseman's an idiot. And then you look at the first 5 years of the Hurts deal compared to the first 2 years of the Jones deal, and Hurts in salary cap space is making less money in 5 years than Jones is in 2. And then I love it. Howie Roseman's a mad fucking genius. And we talked about this. Hurts came out and said, I want a no trade clause. Howie Roseman said that's what you want. We want to make you feel good about this deal. We're going to give it to you. He's got a dead cap number of like 100 million, 70 million, 60 million, 50 million over like the next 4 years. They couldn't trade him anyways. So the mad genius that Howie Roseman is goes, thinking to myself, I fucking can't trade him anyways. So yeah, there you go. No trade clause. There you go, buddy. I'm gonna write it in like permanent ink. Let's see. Gotta see what we have in day. Yeah, we gotta see, because you know what? We don't know. Got no clue. Going into year 6, we got no clue. And I love the Phil Simms comment. The Phil Simms comment kind of fucking bugs me a little bit. And I cursed. I'm sorry. Phil Simms comment kind of bugs me a little bit. The NFL was different back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s because you really didn't have free agency until the Reggie Williams thing. So Phil wasn't going anywhere anyways. Phil couldn't sign with anyone else. Phil couldn't go anywhere else. Phil was being a giant no matter what. You could get rid of Daniel Jones. James Williams says, salute, hit the chat. Zach Attack, good morning, chat, good morning. Tom Brady called the quarterback play bad. It is. Jeff Newman says, Phil Simms' article on DJ Simms he is becoming a homer. Everyone's becoming a homer now because it's almost like people are like, well, we can't keep piling on Daniel Jones. He's such a nice kid. Go sell insurance. Okay? You're not that, go help old ladies across the street. Said it before. I'd rather have an asshole wearing Lee press on nails with purple hair who can throw the rock and read defenses. I don't want a nice guy anymore. OG says, if we draft a quarterback, then we have to go one pro ready because Joe Shane and Brian Dale doesn't have that what it takes. You know, if they draft a quarterback, they do. Joe Shane and Brian Dable, if they fail this year and they don't draft a quarterback, they're gone. February 11th, 2024, I'm saying it right now. They don't draft a quarterback this year. They have another 6-win season. And they look horrid at times. They are gone. You draft a quarterback, you reset the clock, and you give yourself at least another additional season. You draft a quarterback, you have 6 wins this year, they're going to give you 2025. Because the first thing you're going to say is, well, we had a rookie quarterback. We have to see what we're building around that quarterback. You don't want to lose your continuity because we're building around the quarterback. You gain an extra season if you have a bad year. They have a bad year there. They're both gone. Well, at least Dable's gone. Big salute, says James. Chris says, good morning, Tim. Good morning, Chris. Hope everything's going well. Zach Attack says, Giants made former players sign a contract never to say anything bad about the team. I think you're right. I think there's a referendum. Thank you. Can't talk today. Referendum that says if you are a New York Giant, former Giant player, you need to never say anything bad about Daniel Jones ever again. We won't let you in the building. Chris says, take for Fields. No, I want Penix. I mean, I don't want Penix. I don't want Steve. I want what you be my neighbors. I want neighbors. I'm sorry. I like the neighbors. Jeff says, I like moving back, grabbing the number 1 strike. I like that too. I love that plan. If it's me, like I said, I'm trading back to like 17, grabbing the big kid out of Florida State. And then I'm going to trade back into the lower half of the first round. And I'm grabbing Penix. If he's, because I think Penix is going to fall. I think the knee injury is going to scare some people. I think the performance at the, I think his performance in the national championship game is going to scare some people. I also think that we have, I I think we also just, I just think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to fall. Chris says trade for, I would trade for Fields. I would be so happy if we traded for Fields. We're building what we rebuilt. And I love it because Jeff is laughing at that, but it's not wrong. Year one, we win 9 games was the beginning of the rebuild. Everyone got all pumped up. We go out and get Bobby Okereke. We go get Waller. We go get Paris. We go get Paris Campbell. We go against Shane. Admittedly, goes against his own philosophy of this rebuild. He even said it. He went against his own philosophy because what happened in 2023? What happened in 2022? He even said, I went against my own philosophy. I made these moves to try to continue the momentum. The problem was, if you watch that 2022 team and you really watched it, there were things that you were like, we could have easily have only won 5 games. And you saw the roster is somewhat devoid of talent. You could see it. We did a video the other day where we broke down the roster, and out of the 50 guys that are on the roster, maybe 9, 10 of them, and one of them was Graham Gano, would be stalwarts or even potential starters on other teams. The roster's not good, guys. This roster's not good. And I'm not going to complain and say anything about it right now because the 2023 season hasn't ended yet. It doesn't end to the last second of the Super Bowl. So we got to kind of see where we're going to go. Zacatec says, what we are rebuilding, the next baby says. To protect says, I don't want to see a number 1 wasted his rookie season with Daniel Jones. Kevin says, good morning, Tim. Hirsch for real is in his house. Good morning. Let's see. Asmi says, coming year will be one of the weirdest of the Giants fans, a bunch of lame duck players. Not sure if we should be rooting for what we're rooting for. I've said it before. I haven't turned in my season tickets yet. I wish I could wait to free agency in the draft, but you can't. I can't. I don't know. I don't know if this is a sit year. I don't know if this is a sit out year. Let's see. Chris says the most Washington thing happened would be for Kirk Commander to sign with the Commanders. Here's the problem. Washington's not Washington anymore. This is what scares the bejesus out of me. Dallas is always Dallas. Dallas is good in the regular season and implodes in the playoffs. Philadelphia has been up and down, but Philadelphia has gone to 2 Super Bowls in 5 years? Won 1, lost 1, or 3 Super Bowls. I don't know how many Super Bowls they won. Don't really care because it's fucking Philadelphia. But they are always perennial contenders. And we always had Washington. We have Dan Schneider's Washington. And it was great because they made us look good. Then they go out and make a move for their general manager. Shrewd move. They go out and sign a good head coach. It's not Washington anymore. This isn't your parents' Commanders. This is something new in Washington. And what scares me is if they get a quarterback, what happens then? Are those 2 close games and almost wins that we pencil in for Washington going to change? Herschel says the notion of the Giants passing on a top quarterback in the draft is dead cap. They can't do it. They can't do it. Zacatec says giant YouTube and Spaces is a very toxic space. I got to admit, I used to like the Twitter Spaces, and I never knew they were called Twitter Spaces until I don't know, a couple weeks back. I would call them Twitter rooms. And I've sat in a couple of them, and I participated in some of them, but they talk about us being toxic. They go so toxic so quickly. I mean, it's not even funny. You try to have a thought process or an opinion, and I try to give everyone their time and their opinions. But you try to have a thought process and an opinion, and these people go fucking crazy. And I think it's because everyone can talk and everyone has a forum, but I'm like, damn, guys, relax. Have a beer. Don't cost nothing. Hirsch for real says Daniel Jones is a Duke grad. He can work on Wall Street. Send him on Wall Street. I'm happy. I'll help him pack. Blazin says this is the year Daniel Jones turns the corner, has a breakthrough year of all breakthrough years. Bank on it. Am I gonna Carl bank on it. Everyone outside knows Jones isn't the guy, but the Giants talked himself into Jones being the guy. It's ridiculous. That's the thing. You listen to people outside of New York media, outside of giant Twitter, outside of giant YouTube, everything else. They all know it. They all see it. And it's weird because it's like, how you think that you think you are the one that's nuts because you're looking at this from afar. You're looking at this from the outside in, and you're sitting there going, something's just not right.
Doesn't anyone notice this? I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
And sometimes I feel that way. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills because I watch things and I watch the games, and I'm just like, and I'm sitting in the stands, and you're just like, what am I not seeing that everyone else sees? Daniel Jones will have 2 good plays out of 40. And we exalt his value to the team. Evan Neal has 2 bad plays out of 40, and he is a bust. One's a quarterback, one's a tackle. That's why. Let's see. I'm wondering, the Phil Simms article, is the Giants putting out propaganda to prepare the fans for not drafting a quarterback? Well, if you go on NewYorkGiantsLive.com, we're going to talk about that maybe tomorrow. T-Brad says, in Connecticut, heading home. Happy Super Bowl Sunday. What's up, T-Brad? Drive safe if you're driving, please. Richard said, did you see the Jones and Eli Manning case? Jones couldn't muster a single complete sentence. He did this guy pass the interview? The Giants want a puppy dog for a quarterback, not an adult. I cannot say anything about the interview because I did not see the interview. I had no interest in seeing the interview. I have no interest in seeing Daniel Jones. I saw Daniel Jones in person a bunch of times. I asked Daniel Jones my question. We saw the response. I even said his body language was very troublesome for a guy that just signed a $160 million contract in reference to his confidence. That's the only interview I ever need to see with Daniel Jones is the one I did. Joe Rev says, how many careers has Jones finished? Still counting. A lot. FYI, Herschel says Eli Manning has been working. I love the fact that Eli Manning has been working with Drake May. Eli Manning is extolling the virtues of Daniel Jones, but it's going out and working with potentially with the guy the Giants could draft. And I also love it because what if Drake May goes to Washington? So Eli Manning is working with a quarterback who potentially could go to a division rival.
Are you crazy?
Ow!
Yeah, I'm crazy. What made you think I was sane?
That's just fucking crazy to me. Howard Cross and Tiki are super big homers. We've talked about the Howard Cross thing. I thought James Williams was going to go punch out Howard Cross. Danny Dad says, did you interview DJ with Eli? No, I didn't interview DJ. I got to ask Eli Manning. I got to ask Daniel Jones a question at the Giants town hall this year. Got booed. Got booed mercilessly. Then I go to the rookie symposium, and I love it because then these people are all behind us, and Big L's with me. Big L Gigante is there, and I love it because there are guys behind us like, that's the guy. And I look at Big L, and I go, I know what this is about. He's like, that's the guy that asked the Daniel Jones question. Michael says, we need a quarterback. Trade up. Jones sucks. You're not wrong. DJ's body language screams, I have no confidence. I am a fraud. I love it because, like I said, I have to repost the video because I asked him the question, and it was so weird. Because my wife was initially pointed out, I'm going to sit up for this. It's so weird because I asked him the question, and he actually grabs his stomach like this and starts doing this. He's actually like self-soothing as he's answering the question. I'll have to go find the video. Mr. Melvin says, hey, Tim, I have the answer to making some Giant fans ban the PlayStation Madden off the shelves. These fans are nuts with their outrageous salary cap takes. Oh, my God. Mr. Belford, why did you bring that up? Why? Why did you bring that up? You know, I literally wrote an article on NewYorkGiantsLive.com that talked about the salary cap. You had one person that said we could get like $80 million in cap space and get rid of nobody.
I'm Johnny Wishbone, psychic extraordinaire. If you need me, just think Johnny Wishbone and I come running.
I had to break out the news that you cannot convert an entire player's salary to a bonus. And some of the other shit they were talking about, I'm like, and I love it because now everyone is, back in the day when we had Gettleman in the office, we always got a little bit, we got some inside information. We got a lot of inside information from the Giants, and a lot of shit came out to be true about, especially, but we did the video about the Giants not passing drafting Andrew Thomas. We got the information a couple days ahead of time that they were going to sign Blake Martinez and Bradbury. And these are all videos you can go watch. We did a video 24 hours before it happened that Matt Rule was going to stay in Carolina. And there was a bunch of other shit that we got that was kind of leaked out to us. And I always used to say someone that works in the building and someone that we know works in the building was giving us this information. So now everyone you see on YouTube is like, well, we have a source. And I love it because R0B goes to me, how do I get a source? And he was being sarcastic, and I loved it. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, every giant YouTuber has a source. And I love it because Zach Attack told me about the one giant YouTuber who's getting information from John Mara's golfing buddy. Like his golfing buddy is telling me this stuff. And we literally can go back and watch it. We got so much shit right in the Gettleman days because there was leaks. And I kept telling people I don't get any information now because there's really not a lot of leaks coming out of Giant Land. There's really not. And I still know one or two people that work around the building, but there's no leaks coming in. So now everyone has a source. And I love it because now that we have been doing salary cap breakdowns for 3 years, we've said it before. I'll say the one thing I've always said. One of the things that I can always be proud of, that my salary cap numbers have always been almost dead on by $100,000 either way, over or under. Always. You know, I predicted the downfalls twice about when they were going to happen. I predicted that we were going to run out of money by a little after mid-season last year because of everything that was happening. So now everyone's a salary cap expert. Oh. OG says, I would trade for Justin Fields. Hertzreal says, makes 0 sense to trade for Fields. They are drafting a quarterback. Yeah, they're not going to, even if you draft a quarterback, you're not going to get rid of Fields. You're not just going to dump him. Oh, well, are you saying the Giants are drafting a quarterback? If the Giants are drafting a quarterback, I'm down with that. Kevin says this was fool's gold, and they convinced themselves. Yeah, they did. The Giants are going up for Caleb. If the Giants go up for Caleb Williams, I will be happy. This is how much I do not believe in Daniel Jones. I said this, and I wrote this on one of those articles on NewYorkGiantsLive.com, that I would take Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Penix over Daniel Jones. If you drafted any one of those guys, I would be happy. I would be ecstatic. I would be like, okay, that's perfect. Oh, we should put that online. Not that. Hold on. We got to do this. Look, try out our new site, www.NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Watch all the live streams. Read original article. Hold on, guys. I'm typing. Original articles and view all of our YouTube videos. Here we go. Here, put this on the bottom of the screen. I should have done this in the first place. Here we go. Watch this. There we go. There we go. We got to do a little whatever it's called. I don't know what the fuck it's called. Spike that like guy. OG says, OG Naka, can you only get Justin Fields if they're willing him? They may stay number one and take Marvin Harrison Jr. If they stay number one and take Marvin Harrison Jr., they are going best player available. T-Brad says 63 people in here, 23 likes. Hit the damn like button. Yes, I'm talking to you. Actually, we have 80-something people in the room now and only 63 likes or whatever we got. I don't, yeah, hit the damn like button. Do what T-Brad says. Or maybe everyone's watching on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Irish Rover! It's a move on over. It's Irish Rover. OG Knockout said, wasted this talent being a New York Giant. Barkley wasted his talent being a New York Giant fan. I agree. I really do. But stop with the Barkley videos too. Please stop. And the Barkley chatter, please stop. You can't trade a guy who's not under contract. Can't trade him. He's gonna have to. He's even if you tag him, you can't trade him unless he agrees to either sign the tag or do a deal with another team. So everyone's like, well, we're just going to trade him to team X and get a first rounder. Okay, he's not under contract. And I love the people that are like, well, we should just get rid of him because he's going to save us money on the salary cap. If you look at the salary cap now for 2024, his number's not on the salary cap. You want that $29 million that we have available? You want to know why we have $29 million? Because $10 million of it is the Barkley contract. Because wait for it, he's not under contract. Hearst Real says Daniel Jones is a bigger lame duck than Daffy Duck injuring his leg on a hunting trip with Elmer Fudd. Good morning, James. Hearst Real says we got. Let's see. Josh Harris said trust the process. Hope Washington falls the Sixers lead. Two are free agent. Free wins are in jeopardy. I'm not going to get into the process. I am sick of hearing Daniel Jones' name. We already know he's trash. James Owen, question. Didn't Eli also give Daniel Jones an endorsement? Shaking my head. Of course he's going to do it because that's his boy. Of course he's going to do it. I understand that. Danny Duds says 2024, the year DJ breaks through with 16 touchdowns in 17 games. Oh, my God. Oh, G Knockout says it's all John Mara. Same old blueprint. It really is. It kind of is. No one in the Giants, says OG organization, has said anything negative about Jones. Once a Giant, always a Giant. That's always been the philosophy going back to Wellington. Once a Giant, always a Giant. You could be a knucklehead Giant, and once a Giant, always a Giant. You could be a bad Giant. Once a Giant, always a Giant. Just the way it is. Just the way. I mean, just the way it is. I mean, I always go back to Bobby Johnson, the wide receiver from the '86 team, him and Lionel Manuel had a very integral part in that '86 season. But Bobby Johnson was a crackhead. I'm not saying that to be mean. Why he was a crackhead. Literally, he talks about it. And Bill Parcells got rid of him because this traded him over to San Diego. His career flamed out there. I don't think he played a game in San Diego. He sold his Super Bowl ring for drugs. And at the end of the day, the Giants still supported him, turned around, and they helped him with help of another fan. They found his ring and gave it back to him. Once a Giant, always a Giant. Hearst Real says Daniel Jones is Joe Biden of the New York Giants. Please, just pretending everything is just hunky-dory. When inflation is transient, I'm just going to talk about this real quick. When inflation is transient, that means it goes down. Janet Yellen comes out and says that the Fed is raising interest rates to control inflation, but she doesn't see prices ever going back down. Then how is it transitory? just asking that question. Kevin says maybe Eli Manning working with May is a sign the Giants may move up for May. I thought so too. I thought that as well, but I don't know. I really don't know. Zagatek says watch Giants draft a punter out of Miami. That'd be funny. What was the question? What was the answer? I don't know. You gave DJ Mudbutt. Hey, Coach Dave. What's up? Coach Dave is in his house as well. Let's see. Kevin says, Caleb to the Giants, block on Washington, make it happen. I am scared crapless that Washington gets a quarterback. That Washington somehow figures it out and gets a QB. I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared about that. That scares the crap out of me, and it should at the end of the day as well. Let's see here. Let's see. Chris says, Tim, you should have watched the Kay Adams show with Eli Manning, DJ, and Peyton and Sean Payne. I really think Peyton likes DJ. Send him to Denver. Well, we can't because we would wreck our cap. This is what people don't get. And I'm not saying you, Chris. I'm just saying people in general don't get this. The reason why Shane, Dable, Mara, and the rest of the Giant organization keeps saying that Daniel Jones is our guy. Daniel Jones is not going anywhere. Daniel Jones is our quarterback because you can't move on from him. You would wreck your cap. And I mean wreck it. That's like someone on Twitter, I forgot who it was, says, we should go get Josh Allen, the linebacker out of Jacksonville. I think that's a great idea. Fantastic idea. And I answered and replied, I said, I love that idea. If you don't mind only fielding 47 guys. Same thing with Daniel Jones. You could get rid of him. But if you want to field 43 guys, that's what you're going to have to do. Kevin Abrams is Captain Crunch. I like that. That's funny. I laugh when Kevin Abrams became the next GM of the Giants. Joe, because as Giant fans, we have a tendency to always pee over the fence and always scream the grass is greener. I just love that we're peeing over fences. Zagatek says R0B also believes people in the Twitter spaces. I just can't. I just can't. I'm not knocking the Twitter spaces because it's, you have people like Carl Banks go on there and other players. It's a valuable source of information, but they talk about YouTube being toxic and Twitter being toxic. Dear Lord. What you just need to do is go to NewYorkGiantsLive.com and just watch everything from there. Kayvon, Zach says Kayvon saying Kayvon doesn't talk to Andre Patterson. It's just, I don't even know. OGR Sports, I laugh at Kayvon becomes the next GM of the Giants after Joe. As the Giants fans, we already talked about peeing over the fence. If the Giants go get Caleb, I get the hat. I have a bet with Joe Rev that if the Giants trade up and get Caleb Williams, he gets my hat. He gets this hat. But if they don't, then he has to donate $100 to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital in the name of Daniel Jones. Eli working with Drake May, draft day trade coming up. Like I said, I have this thing about Drake May. I did a video about Drake May. Drake May, to me, is a more athletic Daniel Jones. Drake May has this tendency of hanging in the pocket. And I don't know if he's hanging in the pocket to let plays develop, because I don't know. Nobody knows. I don't know if he's hanging in the pocket because, he's just that type of statuesque quarterback that stands in the pocket against the pressure. I don't know. Or is he standing in the pocket so long because of the fact that he's having difficulty reading the defense? So in some regards, he's like Daniel Jones, but he's the anti-Daniel Jones in reference to hanging out in the pocket. And I think he's got a little bit more maneuverability. I think he's got a little bit more speed. He's got the prototypical size. We've said it before. He can make all the throws on Sunday because of his arm. I just hope they're not saying he can make all the throws on Sunday in the parking lot, because I'd rather see him make all the throws on Sunday in the stadium. But I think you're going to get a little bit. I think you're going to get a little bit of Daniel Jones with Drake May. I really do. I think if you look at the most pro-ready, you got to go. If you look at the people I think that are most pro-ready right now, I think you're going to look at Williams, Penix, then May, and then Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is going to take some time to kind of like he's going to need to marinate a little bit. He's going to need to marinate. But I just afraid you're going to get a better version of Daniel Jones. And then you're going to have Drake May and Daniel Jones and Tommy DeVito on that. And I can't. I just can't. Caleb, Drake, Jaden. Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, but I think Penix would have gone ahead of everybody if it wasn't for the two ACLs. I think he would have gone. I really do. I think he would have gone over Caleb. Let's hear it. I'm okay with Williams, Day, Manuels, and Penix, even if we stay at 6. Have 4 shots at a quarterback at 6. I'll take my chances. I can't take Penix at 6. I have a feeling the Commanders are going to trade up for Caleb. I have that feeling too. I have this weird feeling that the Washington's going to do something that's Washington-esque that Dan Schneider would do, but they're actually going to do it right. What's up, Kevin? Don't ever say that again, Reese. We got Big Joe going. Ta-da! Manuel says midday next year we'll be looking for a new regime. Zach Attack says Tommy DeVito, Barkley, we're at the Super Bowl show. Where was our number one quarterback savior, Tyrod Taylor? He was busy. Tyrod's just so OG. They're like, you want to go do this? He's like, no. Sitting there in probably his dog father shirt, sitting back on his couch going, don't need to. Thanks for asking. Let's see. Anyone over Daniel Jones, but I honestly think Caleb Williams will be a bust in New York. He's better in a place like Atlanta or Vegas. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think people question his mental fortitude, Caleb Williams, and his sensitivity. I don't think he's a Josh Rosen. I think he can handle the New York media. I think he's going to need a little bit of media coaching, we'll say. So does Joe Shane. But I think you'd be fine here. James says, let's talk about being a crackhead. Stay off drugs, kids.
Gentlemen, what brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Oh, LT was on cocaine as well. A lot of that team was on cocaine, evidently. Let's see here. You should ask Lawrence Taylor if you ever did cocaine with Bobby Johnson. Joe G Time says, can we have a good draft? The Giants play this right. We have 2 second picks. We have 2 seconds and a first. This is why I think this. This is why I'm thinking. I think this. This is what I'm thinking. You trade back. You get additional assets. Let's say you trade back and you get someone's first and a third. You then take whoever you want. I still say you take the big wide receiver out of Florida State. Then you take that extra pick you just got, package it maybe with another pick, and you trade back up into the lower half of the first round. And you grab your quarterback if Penix is there. I think that's smart. I keep seeing that. What's the difference between Vegas and Wuhan? What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Oh, my goodness. What teams would start DJ besides a Giant? I don't see him as starter in 2 years. I love it, the fact that when he hit free agency, or was going to hit free agency, and he had to call his daddy, John Mara, to save him and get him his contract. I talked to some people in Philadelphia. I talked to some people over in Tennessee. I talked to some people in Miami. And everyone was like, he's not even going to get Mitchell Trubisky money outside of New York. But we signed him for $160 million. Washington is getting Williams. My sources told me. Joe says, I think we'll end up signing to Autry. Okay. Any reason? Capital, Mr. Alvarez says, hey, Tim, I saw a rumor that the Pats might trade down. Do you think the Giants will take the trade up with take their guy if he's still there at 3? I mean, if I'm the Giants, I've said this before. If I'm the Giants, I got an extra second. So I take the 6 overall. I take one of my seconds, and then maybe a third and a fifth next year, and offer that to one of the top 2 teams. I think that's enough to go up and get your quarterback if there's truly a guy out there you want. Chris says that's a no-brainer. Washington drafts one of the top 3. If they don't, their fan base goes on postal. They might. Chris says, what is it Chris says, Mr. Pete? Chris says, he's like, I know about the Sire Cup. I think I could be a good 3rd string tight end. Oh, my God. I've already told people I'm thinking of coming out of retirement. Because if the Giants make all these moves that people want them to make, they're going to need to sign some people. And you know what? I could suck for $1 million.
That's what she said.
Stanley says, hey, Tim, I see Bo Nix and Michael Pratt are heading up the draft boards. I just can't see it. I just can't see the Bo Nix thing. Bo Nix is a different quarterback than he was in Auburn, 100%. But Bo Nix still has all of his flaws that he had from Auburn and took him to Oregon. But the problem is Oregon disguised those flaws by doing a lot of short passes, check downs, and one read options. Who does that sound like? Joe says, no, in the name of online Big Blue, never Jones. I think that every year. Zach says, I can see the Giants jumping up, trading to 4 with Zona because Zona has Murray. Yeah, but here's the thing. I'm Arizona. You saw what Kyler Murray could do with DeAndre Hopkins. You saw what he could do. I'm Arizona. I let the guys battle it out of 3 for the QBs. I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr. I saw what he could be with wide receivers. That's what I'm doing. Hirsch for real says Daniel Jones spent more time in the pocket than a pickpocket in Times Square. Jane says every year I think there's no way DJ is coming back, and every year they bring him back. This is when I think I get out there, keep pulling me back in. Godfather 3, Al Pacino. Love Eli, but please stay away from these quarterbacks. Okay, he does not have a great track record right now of liking quarterbacks. This is Lexi. Okay. Hi, Lexi. What do we got here? Okay, what do we got here? Every year they say that she's last chance. It's been 5 years and the guy stinks. Mara can't be this dumb. I think he can be. I think he can't be this dumb. The coach says that JJ McCarthy will go in the top 10 and will be fools to do it at 6. And they'll be the fools that do it. JJ McCarthy's not going to the top 10. And I love you, Coach Dave, but I don't see it. Unless there is there's something that is going to happen that people are just all of a sudden he gains this. I'm gonna say it again. 659 passes in 3 years. Did not complete a third or a fourth down completion until the end of the third quarter in the championship game. They don't win that game without their running game. He was never asked to do much at Michigan because of the running game. You don't know what he is. He could be, and I love when people go, well, he's Tom Brady. Tom Brady never won a national championship. Tom Brady was not going to be a guy considered to be a day 1 or day 2 pick. He's not Tom Brady. Tom Brady wasn't Tom Brady when he came out of Michigan. Tom Brady didn't become Tom Brady until Drew Bledsoe got hurt. Then Tom Brady became Tom Brady. I just want to see how many times I can say Tom Brady. Tom Brady, Tom Brady, Tom Brady. Who lost the Super Bowls 2011 and 2007 to the Giants? Tom Brady. Oh, let's see. I'm good with JJ in the second round, to be honest. I would take JJ third or fourth. Mr. James says, every year they say this is DJ's last chance. Well, it's been 5 years. The guy stinks. Merrick can't be this dumb. Yeah, he can be. He can be. Shane Bowen. Oh, Shane Bowen. I posted I was talking to Rob last week, ours early last week on the Tuesday stream, whatever day it was. And I love it because he kept telling me, well, Shane Bowen runs a 3-4. I said, well, he does, and he also runs a hybrid 4-3. No, you know what you're talking. And I love it because he's right. I was on the Spaces. I just watched a bunch of the Tennessee games. And then I love it because then someone on Twitter, I don't remember who it was, someone will tell me, posted pictures and videos of the Titans defense and them in 4-man fronts. And they're like, well, he runs a 3-4, but he also has a tendency to go with a 4-man rush and a 4-man line. And with 3 linebackers. I'm like, well, that's called a 4-3. I only watch the games. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I probably watch like 80% of the Titan games, but that's okay. Oh, that's okay. JJ to New England, book it. I thought, I keep thinking that I thought this as well. I thought, and I said this, Chris, the other day. Would it be a New England thing to take Marvin Harrison Jr. and then trade back up either early into the second and grab JJ McCarthy? It seems like a New England thing. You go out, you're going to get your big target, and then you're going to get your quarterback. James says, hit the like button. If you don't hit the like button, I'm not going to say anything. What are we at? 35 likes. That's actually good. Let's get to 50. How about we get to 50? And how about you go to NewYorkGiantsLive.com? You can watch the videos there. You can watch live streams there. New articles. Read the bottom. Try out our new website, NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Watch all the streams, read articles, and view all of our YouTube videos. Danny Dad says, remember when something's, people are like, why is there a website now? Maybe we're going to be doing something new in 2024. Stay tuned. Danny says, remember when some giant content creator said DJ's deal was good and he was a top 10 quarterback? Looking at you, entertainer, I know you're in here. I couldn't tell you if he said it or not, because I don't watch anyone else. I couldn't tell you. Does it sound like something he would say? Yeah, 100%. And then he would say it, and then you would have a bad game and go, well, I said initially we shouldn't have him. We should get rid of him. It's a bad deal. I love it. People flip-flop so much. I want to flip-flop now. I think that's easier to do. Just flip-flopping. No. My source says Mike Tomlin is going to the Giants. My source is my professional disc golf buddy who knows Art Rooney II. Davey, what's going on, man? Tim, how are you? I was thinking the other day, can you name the Giants' last pass rusher we developed successfully? Jason Pierre-Paul? I would think that he would be like the last like truly great giant pass rusher that we successfully cultivated out of college. I would say JPP. Hirschfield says, would it be crazy for Jaden Daniels to fall at 6? I'd be on that like white on rice. I think one of the quarterbacks is going to fall. And I'm going to take Penix out of the equation. Between May, Williams, and Daniels, I think one of them will fall to 6. I don't know why. There's always a shakeup at the beginning. There's always a shakeup in the draft. Someone either does something stupid. Someone either does something where they just screw up the whole draft board. Remember when Sonny Weaver took Bo Callahan and didn't take Bo Callahan? Remember when he turned around and traded him back to Seattle?
Come on, Tom, say it with me, you pancake-eating motherfucker.
I actually have to watch that movie one day. Sean says, how much money have the Giants wasted lately? Kenny G, Jones, Waller, Solder, plus whoever I missed. No wonder we are never have any cap space. The problem is this. I don't like the timing of the contracts for Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence. I don't like the timing of it. I don't like what they did there, because you then made a case in point that you were going to commit a large portion, and also the Dan Jones signing, because you were going to commit a large portion of your salary cap to 3 guys. And you were going to be top heavy again. It was a Gettleman thing, and it's not a Gettleman thing anymore because it's just what the Giants do. It doesn't matter who the general manager is. We have this propensity to all of a sudden being top heavy with like 3-4 guys. And then we have all these lower ranked contracts, or we start kicking the money down the road and not thinking that, I gladly play a Tuesday if I hamburger today, that Tuesday's ever going to show up. And then when Tuesday shows up, we're kind of like, why don't we have any money? Well, because you kept moving money and deferring money to other years, because I heard forever. And I kept telling people this is not true. I heard this forever. We are going to have like $100 million in cap space in 2024. We're going to have at least $100 million. All these contracts are coming off the books. All these things are going to happen. And I kept telling people, yeah, you're going to be that way if the Giants don't sign anybody. But you start signing your free agents, you end up anywhere between $26 to $30 million. And $6 million of that is your rollover money. Another $10 million, that is the Saquon Barkley coming off the books. That's not how the salary cap works. We got big LJ. We got LJ. What's up, LJ? What's up, LJ? Good morning, people. Never underestimate the lack of intelligence. OG says, I agree with the coach because the Giants aren't drafting a black quarterback. Maybe they surprise you. I mean, do I think Giants are inherently a racist organization? I talked about it before. No. I think I think a little bit of it, and if you go back and look, we've kind of talked about this. You go back to Phil Simms in 79. Phil Simms was a quarterback from 79 to 92. Then you had a little bit of a mixture in there, or 93, whatever it was. Then you had a little mixture in there. Then you had Kerry Collins. And then after Kerry Collins, you had a little bit of a dearth. And then you had Eli Manning for 16 years. So you had a period of time between 79 and 2019 where you weren't really drafting a quarterback. Now, you could say, could they have taken a quarterback, an African-American, a black quarterback, or whatever you want to call it? I don't know. I never know what people say. I always say black quarterback. I don't know. Could they have taken one in the later rounds? Sure. But it was never, outside of the Dave Brown mistake in the supplemental draft, it was really never an option for really from like 79 to 2019. Now, I do agree there were plenty of quarterbacks they could have taken in the later rounds that they could have developed that actually became really good starters in this league, but I don't know. I'm not convinced about that. I'm not convinced about that yet, but if you run into a situation, let's say this, I would have more of a thought process in reference to that. Ooh, we should do this as an article. I would have more of a thought process of reference to that if someone like Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams fall to 6 and we pass. Then I would kind of be interested in seeing that. Let's see here. We need to convince Merritt to trade franchise with the Bears and trade us Fields to the number 1 pick. You know, he would still screw it up. I don't think that Tom Brady looked at the tape as this kid and said he can make all the throws from the pocket. He can manipulate the pocket. He can throw on the run. There's a lot to like. I don't think he's. I'm not saying there's not a lot to like about K. I'm not saying there's not a lot to like about JJ McCarthy. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is this: he threw 659 passes in 3 years. He wasn't asked really to carry the team. When he had the ability to throw the ball deep, he was able to make some connections. But at the end of the day, you cannot truly judge by his college career what exactly you think he is going to be as a pro. I'm just saying. You know, I'm just kind of throwing that out because you don't know. Let's see. Chris says authentic Doug Annelson Sal went back and forth describing Bowen's defense scheme, discussing creeper blitz. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's funny. I knew I saw it somewhere. You're gonna get a lot of zone blitzes too here, and I love it because he only blitzed like 25-30% of the time. And I also love it because he also drops a lot of his linebackers and his defensive linemen into coverage. So is that really going to be great for Kayvon Thibodeau? I did a great article on Kayvon Thibodeau. If you ever want to read it, it's on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Zach says 433-452, which is better? You know what's interesting about that, Zach? Go on New York Giants Live today, and there will be an article discussing the 4-3-3-4 defense. I don't even know what I titled it. What did I title? I titled it. Here you go. You know what I'm going to do for you guys? Here you go. Because I don't know. I got to hold on. I'm going to do this for you guys because I like you. Here you go. You know what? This article will be live. Thank you, Zach. This article will be live after this video. And here you go. There you go. I posted the first paragraph of the article. Those 1, 2, 3 things. That is the first paragraph of the article about the 4-3-3-4 defense. There you go. That is the first article, and the rest, the article will be up after this stream. So make sure you go and look at that. It's NewYorkGiantsLive.com. We've had many years of Jones not being able to manipulate the pocket and take sacks. Yeah, you saw the difference between Tommy DeVito. You saw the difference between Tyrod Taylor. You see the difference. I mean, you see the pocket presence or the lack thereof of the pocket presence. It just kind of makes your head spin. If the Giants are waiting for Archie, I hope the idiots realize that Quinn Harris stayed in Texas. Archie didn't transfer. They have to win. And Archie's going to be at least. You're right. Archie pushed back his. First of all, Archie needs to get on the field. This kind of reminds me when Chris Sims went to Texas and Major Applewhite was there. Boy, I'm old. Archie needs to get on the field. Chris did say the dumb shit, him and Bad Dog. I'm not saying you're not right. I'm saying you're not right at all. I just say the same thing over and over again. Hit the like button. Go to NewYorkGiantsLive.com. I'm just saying this. Stick with your convictions. That's all. My wife is sending me lovely text messages. I'm going to text her back. You all just sit a minute. All right. There we go. Where am I now? Hopefully she's watching us on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. Don't you dare flip-flop, said James. I'm not going to. Giants flip-flop more than Rodney doing Triple Lindy. Back to School, classic movie. Rodney Dangerfield. Paulie is in it from Rocky. You have Will Zappa or Zapka. The Karate Kid's in it. Isaiah said, what's up, Tim? AKA 8 fingers not getting another ring with that. JPP was almost 10 years ago. Well, you asked a question. You asked a question. I'm just giving you the answer. Giant content creators flip-flop more than the hot air out of Washington watching Daniel Jones violates the 8th Amendment. Cruel and unusual punishment. That's a good one, Zach. That's a good one. Oh my goodness gracious. Great balls of fire. Caleb smokes crack and falls to the Giants at 6. Confirmed. Did you have a source? Was it John Mara's Frisbee Froth golfing buddy who gave you that source? Davey says, draft day, the lines are better than the movies. I love it because me and the Dahmer, we always text back the lines from draft day. And I remember one day, it was about a year ago before he came to the house. And I laugh because we talked about it once. We were texting back and forth. And then I texted him and I said, you know what's funny? I said, I've never seen the movie. I said, I've only seen the lines from the movie. And then Dom texts me back and he goes, you know what's crazy? I've never seen the movie either. I'm like, maybe. And I kept telling him, I said, one day we're gonna have to get like on a stream, or we're gonna have to watch the movie. And there's the Dahmer. There's the Dahmer with OBB in his house, wearing the. I love it because the Dahmer at that point in time has on a Eli Manning, not an Eli Manning. He's got on a Phil Simms autographed helmet. He's wearing my shoulder pads from college and a game-worn Giants jersey. Dahmer is the ultimate. He is the ultimate team player. There we go. Yes, he does look like he's my son. So, oh, I love the Dahmer. We gotta have the Dahmer on. So let Dext walk. No, I'm not saying let Dext walk. You're missing the point, Craig. You're missing the point. You didn't have to sign them all at once. It's okay to space it out contractually. I'm not going to get into it, Chris. You're missing the point. Craig, a mind is a terrible thing to waste. Let's see here. Could use Daniel Jones, the 49ers. My OGR says, what's up? Michael Penix completion percentage under pressure is 40%. The only thing I don't like about Penix is you put the rush like the championship game. He falls, has a little bit of wind up like Tommy DeVito. I don't think he had Tommy DeVito, and we've pointed this out a million times. Tommy DeVito's got this weird elongated, I don't have the photo anymore. He's got this weird elongated pitcher style windup. Do we have the photo? Yeah, there you go. If you watch him, that's Tommy right there. He's, I don't know, I can't point. That's Tommy's right there. He's got this weird elongated pitcher style windup. Which causes a lot of balls getting batted. Causes a lot of 40. I mean, the Pats figured out because they were batting down passes left and right. I don't think Penix is bigger than Tommy. Penix's windup is not as elongated. I think his biggest issue again is going to be it looks a little wonkier than it probably is. And I think it's wonky. It looks a little wonkier than it probably is because he's also a left-hander. And that's always interesting. Did you know? Do you know? Do you know? Did you know Brock Purdy is the only Mr. Relevant to start a Super Bowl? What a trivia question. That is a good trivia question. I did not know that. But Penix is a bigger wind-up than Luis Tiant. All right, Hirsch. I'm old. Even I know that. I got that reference. That was pretty funny, though. Oh, no. It's Alejandro. Stu says, good morning, Tim. Danny says, since I said DJ was drafted, Daniel Jones sounds like a backup name. Yeah, he kind of does. I wish we would have taken Josh Allen, the linebacker. I've said it before. When the Giants passed him at 6, it was great because the commissioner goes up there. And with the 6th pick, the New York Giants select quarterback Daniel Jones, Duke. And I love it because not even before he finished the sentence, because you got 15 minutes, not even before he finished these seconds, he goes, Duke. Oh, and wait. The Jacksonville Jaguars have their pick in. It is Josh Allen, linebacker, Kentucky. I was like, and even I swear to God, Tom Coughlin, 947 years old, ran. Probably his pick to the podium. I got it right here, guys, right here. Oh my God. If Caleb is at 6, they'd take him, but there's a lot of people that don't have high grades on him. Those people that aren't crack. Send the link, Tim. I was waiting for Emmanuel to come on. Emmanuel was supposed to come on today at 11. I guess he didn't. I guess he's not available. Emmanuel Reese was supposed to come on. I don't know where he is. But we'll have to wait and see if he comes on. Hey, Tim, why is the Giants trying to become a passing team when their strengths out their offense is running with Saquon? Because Saquon Barkley is not going to be the main weapon anymore because I don't think Saquon Barkley is coming back. And if you think you're going to have the gray ghost and Eric Gray as your running back, I'm not saying you, Stanley, I'm just saying in general. It's just why is my iPhone current continual camera iPhone was at 20%? I don't know what that means. I don't know what they're going to do next year. Davis says only recent black quarterbacks are developing as quarterbacks not running quarterback, which is explained why the Giants never draft a black quarterback. All past quarterbacks with wishbone type quarterbacks. Oh. What is this by online Big Blue Sports? In the realm of the NFL, I'm not going to get into the intricacies of defense strategies play a pivotal role in shaping the outcome of games. Among those various defensive schemes deployed by teams as a 3-4-3-4 defense stands as a stalwart, each boosting distinct characteristics such as strategic advantages. However, amid these differences lies a web of misconceptions that not only cloud the understanding of these defenses. Whoa, that sounds like an article I want to read on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. OG says, okay, what's about Patrick Mahomes? McAdoo wanting Mahomes, and they laughed him out of the building. Yeah, I mean, would Mahomes be Mahomes here? Or is Mahomes because of Andy Reid and the continuity of Andy Reid? That's the question. Leave Dex alone. Don't have Kayvon drop back. It doesn't matter, Craig, if you want to do that or not. This is the defense the guy runs. This is what he runs. He runs a lot of zone blitzes. He runs a lot of 4-3-3-4 hybrid type style defenses. He only blitzes like 20% of the time. They talk about the stalwartness of his run defense, but they don't want to. We don't want to ever talk about what his pass defense looked like. We don't want to talk about the collapses in the fourth quarter and overtime. We don't want to talk about the blowouts in Jacksonville and other games. We don't want to talk about that. We don't talk about the fact that he gave up 23 or more points like in 9 games. We want to talk about the fact that on 4th down and red zone, he was 28.6%, which is 0.05% better than any of the next team. Okay, but you got to look at everything. McAdoo was spot on about Holmes. If Caleb falls to 6, the Giants pass on him, then use the excuse was character concerns. I might believe it'd be racist. The Giants have always been a well, not always. Should rephrase that. The Giants didn't always used to be a high character team. Giants usually always take the best player available. Protect says, OG, you want to make the Mahomes thing about race when it was honestly the fact that Giants hit Eli Manning and they still were stubborn. I don't think the Mahomes thing was about race. I don't think the Mahomes thing was about race whatsoever. I think to your fact that they thought there still was that window with Eli Manning, and they thought they could get guys to help get Emmanuel. I emailed you the link. Emmanuel. When I DM'd you the link, remember? Sports Critic says, "What's up, Tom?" I'll send it out in a minute. Craig says, "Stop the nonsense. You had different players." And Craig, you know what? I'm sorry, Craig.
You need people. Think you go get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Craig, you've been put in timeout. Craig's been a bad boy. Craig's in timeout. Let's see here. Do you know what it feels like? Sorry. Let's see. Just not excited about next year, says Nick. Good morning, Tim. Good morning. Rico says, Rico says, you want to live forever? Jaden Daniels at 6 would be great. I do agree with that. Draft Day, says Zach Attack, is the best movie. Who will the next Giants king of the almost sack be? I don't know. I think people got to understand. I think the sack totals are going to drop a little bit here. And I just keep pointing this out. No one wants to talk about it. Everyone talks about his 11.5 sacks, and I have no problem with that. And I did a nice article on Kayvon Thibodeau. Go read it on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. I did a nice article about him. Was very complimentary about a lot of things that he does. But the problem is also he got the majority of his sacks in 3 games. Then he went 6 without a sack. And he never came. People are like, well, he had 3 sacks against the Jets. Okay, well, great. He didn't come up with like 7 up on that last drive, now did he? Looking like we're running it back into Dable being fired because they believe in Jones. Dom is a hobbit. Is Dom a hobbit? Yeah, Dom is a little bit of a hobbit. Dom is a little bit of a hobbit. I love this picture. This is one of my favorite pictures of Dom, Big Al Gigante, and LJ. And like I said, this is there's this on the field level. There's a fence, and there's a rail on the fence, on the bottom of the fence, like a step stool. Dom is actually standing on that rail. He's literally standing on the rail, not to look short. He's standing on the rail. Let's see here. Jeff says the funny thing is about the picture is Tim sitting in a chair and Dom is standing on a stool. That's about right. Her says, I think Jaden Daniels would turn out to be the cleanest of the bunch. Most of us prefer black Americans, not African Americans. I don't know anyone about. I've said it before. One of my best friends outside of James, who happens to be black. I asked him a long time ago. I said, what do you prefer? This was years ago. And he goes, I'm not African. It's like, I've never been to Africa. I don't know anything about Africa. He goes, I'm black. He goes, well, I'm actually just your friend. And I said, I know that. I'm just, sometimes people get offended, but Mr. Bruce, what's up? Saying Giants fan flip-flop more than a frat boy at the mother's go-to spa. DJ quarterbacking is like, what does Johnny Rico say? Danny DeVito has earned himself a camp invite, and that's about it. I like the kid, but he's a number 3 quarterback or a practice squad guy. Tommy DeVito was a good story. Tommy DeVito was a story that you were kind of like, it's a good story. It's a story that you were happy to, that you won some games. It brought some excitement to the team. There was a few of us that were kind of concerned that you were winning these ancillary games and you were not going to succeed, I should say, into anything else but causing yourself to drop out of your draft position. And that's what we did. And I'm not saying that I didn't enjoy winning the games, because I did enjoy winning the games. You always enjoy when you win, but at the end of the day, you have to look at what these wins potentially cost you. And then in some regards, these Tommy DeVito wins against bad teams could have costed you a chance at a quarterback. We've said this before. The Giants winning these games cost you the chance to get out of the Daniel Jones contract in 2011. If the Giants, think about it this way, if the Giants don't win in 2011, if the Giants flounder, 2022, if the Giants flounder in 2022, Daniel Jones isn't here. That's it, plain and simple. Daniel Jones, if you flounder, he's not here. You minus some of those games in reference to the ones that Tommy DeVito won. The Giants are probably taking a quarterback. They're probably going to get their choice of Drake May or Jaden Daniels. But at this time, we are now sitting here looking at this, saying to ourselves, what are we going to do at 6? When people were like, well, these wins didn't really cost us anything. The wins costed you potentially a lot. The wins potentially costed you an opportunity to get a franchise quarterback and an opportunity to get out from underneath Daniel Jones and start trying to do something different. That's what these wins cost you. And Tommy DeVito showed at periods of time that he just wasn't the guy. And he gets benched on national television, and you got people like his father all upset that he got benched. He got benched because he just didn't play well. He got benched because he was being exposed. He got benched because he was not the quarterback. And all the people that wanted Tyrod Taylor to start when he came back because he was healthy, they were right. They were 100% right. He should have started. They always say in the NFL, you don't lose your spot or your starting spot via injury. And then I love it because then you'll have the people that'll talk about, well, Lou Gehrig and Wally Pipp. Well, okay, how long ago was that? Tyrod Taylor should have came back. Danny DeVito, and like I said, I always call him Danny DeVito. Danny DeVito cost you an opportunity to get something special on this team. So the question was this: was 3 useless wins really worth what you're sitting through right now and sitting through another season with Daniel Jones? That's kind of my question to people. And I know I pontificated there for a few minutes about it, but that's what I asked. That's kind of what my thought process is. Did it really matter? Did it really count? Did it really get you to the point where you would rather be sitting here now in February, going into April, wondering what quarterback you were going to take or what position you're going to take because of the fact that you won some useless games by a backup quarterback with a Jeremy Lin story over at the end of the season? Caleb isn't getting past 1. I don't think he is. Send me link. I'm going to send out the link in a second. DJ says DJ quarterbacking is like like that old don't do drugs foreign great commercial. You know, it's funny, Dave. We actually just talked about that, James Williams and I. Bigfoot has more sighting than Aziz Ojulari, the Gray Ghost. Took that from Everyone's All-American. Not the movie, the book. Tim, don't forget to take the Magic Mind today. Oh, you mean the little green shot? I always have the Magic Mind. I got mind on my magic and my magic on my mind. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I laughed. Someone sent me a thing on Twitter, and they said, how small is Dom really? That's literally me sitting down, and that's Dom in a restaurant. That's me. I'm like, I'm not a small guy, but Dom is. Oh, I gotta call Dom later and let him know we talked about the stream. If your ears are burning, if our new D coordinator doesn't figure it out in first year, I think the coaching staff will be gone. Oh, it's gonna be gone. If they don't win, they're gonna be gone. Stanley said, "Hey Tim, don't you think Shane Bowen will develop Kayvon Dillon's pass rush moves?" No, I don't, because he doesn't really rush that much. He only rushed like 25% of the time. And that's why I get it's just crazy. Who's getting Wonka today? Craig got Wonka. Craig gets more timeouts. Oh, God. Thoughts on the Nick trades? I like both. I like the trades. OG Anunoby. I don't like the fact that he had surgery and they hit it. Take out the bone spurs. He'll be back in 3 weeks. And we need Julius Randle back. We got to get to the All-Star break. The Knicks are gonna flounder a little bit because of the fact they got to figure it out. They got walloped by Indiana 125-111. The injuries are just going to be too much right now for them to overcome. It's just what it is. I mean, it's going to be the injuries are going to be the name of the season. I see a train wreck coming in 2024. Swing culture. What's up, Tim? Blessings, Tim. Hopefully a good game today. The Giants need to adjust with the times, get back to drafting the best player available. Are you hiring journalists for the New York Giants website? Well, Mr. Bruce, I'm not hiring journalists, but if you want to submit an article, I am going to have a section, and we were going to talk about this. We weren't going to talk about this today, but if you want to write an article and you want to submit it, and there is a way you can submit it. If you go, you can also just email it to me, and there's email address and everything. And if, like I said, and if it's of our journalistic quality standards, then I'll post it. We were going to talk about that, and I actually have Dom writing an article. So, Mr. Bruce, if you want to email me an article, you're more than welcome to. Mr. Alvarez says the only way Kayvon and Daniel Jones look average this upcoming season if they cupcake schedule again in 2022. I agree. Davey says DJ is like the ring in the Hobbit, and Mary is precious. Let's see here. We're wandering in the woods more than Sasquatch. Mr. Stu agrees with me 100%. Danny DeVito belongs in the pizzeria making pizza. Sorry, the plain truth. Here's the thing about Danny DeVito. I'm going to say it real quick. For some unknown reason, the Giant fans, not all of us, the Giant fans, and for a period of time, embraced a very, some said, and I've talked to some Italians, some said a little bit of racist, stereotypical behavior by Tommy DeVito in reference to Italians. I don't understand that. The wind-up cost us Bo Callahan. I don't see the link in the DMs, Tim. Oh my goodness gracious. Hold on. Let me get to you. Manuel, let me get to you real quick. Hold on. Manuel's got a problem. I got to get the link. Do you know what it feels like to be the one who's always in a rush to throw you away? Hold on. Everyone just hold. Everyone just you know what? Bear with me. Bear with me. There you go, Emmanuel. There you go. Do you know? Davey says the win cost is drafting Bo Callahan. An argument can be made for Tyrod to start over Daniel Jones. It can be made 100%. Tim, don't forget, DeVito was the celebration of the year. I don't understand that you literally had in some regards, a racist, stereotypical Italian celebration with an Italian quarterback that I said when he did it. The first moment he did it, the first thing I said on one of the streams was, as soon as he starts playing poorly, that is going to come back and haunt him. And look what happened against the Saints. Jeff says, Timmy Jones is the first round pick for Purdy. Now, they're not going to trade for Purdy. They would be like Joe Shane would call the 49ers. Yeah, we'd like to give you Daniel Jones and the first pick for Purdy. Hello? That's exactly what it would be. Do you think they keep DJ again this season or aggressively start? They have to keep him. There's 68 million reasons why they got to keep him. Jeremy Lin was a great player. That never was. He was a great player for a month. He ain't cute, but he sure is Purdy. I love it. Dom is writing short articles. Stanley says, I got a scenario. All right, for you, Tim. If the Giants go 8-9 next season and miss the playoffs and go 0-4 in a division, will Dable and Shane keep their jobs if they run it back? I think if that's the scenario, if Dable gets fired, Shane keeps his job, and they draft a quarterback. I can't wait to write my article on why the Giants have caused me to look out the window. Oh, you know what? That's great. You know what? Go ahead. I went to school for journalism. I went to school for journalism for 2 years before I switched majored. I went to school for journalism and broadcast journalism for 2 years, and I switched my major because my father said, you're never going to make any money in radio or anything else like that. I thought it was great the other day. I posted an article. I posted one of the articles, and someone sent a comment to me, and they said, "You probably never played the game, and you're just a journalist." I was like, "Oh my God, you think I'm a journalist?" It's like, that's so awesome. What do we got, man? What are you holding up, Emmanuel?
So this is it's a Daniel Jones signed picture. They gave it away at my job because nobody wanted it. So
They gave it away your job because nobody. Well, we have the Emmanuel Reese coming on.
hey, how's it going?
Good. We always like having Emmanuel on. We haven't had him on in a long time, so I wanted to make sure we had an opportunity to bring him on in. They gave away a picture of Daniel Jones at your job, and nobody wanted it.
Yeah, it was an auction. Like they were auctioning off for charity, and no one placed a bid on it. And I told the person who was running the auction that I was a Giants fan. He said, "Do you want it?" I said, "Not really, but I'll take it." So.
How much did you bid?
I put like $5 down. $5 down.
So if everyone hold the picture up again. So Emmanuel won this at at a auction at his job for $5. I would like to start a GoFundMe page right now for Emmanuel, so we can reimburse him his $5 for the autograph picture of Daniel Jones.
Please.
That's the least for being such a great supporter of the show. That is the least that we can do. We can start a GoFundMe page, get $5. It's going to be $5 for Emmanuel.
Crazy.
The Daniel Jones wreckage.
Crazy.
So you don't have it hanging on your wall?
I don't. I actually literally before I got on, I had to go find it because I didn't know where it was. And I got it before he got paid too. So.
You got it before you got paid. That's even worse. So
yeah.
now with inflation, I think we have to raise $7 for you.
Yeah, just to recoup it makes sense.
You have been in the chat all this season. And people that don't understand is the season isn't over yet. The season ends today, so the NFL season is still going on. What is your as a diehard Giant fan? What was your in a quick wrap up?
Mm-hmm.
What is your thought about this season, about how it went compared to next year, and how it went compared to expectations?
I think we fell into a trap of fool's gold, thinking that we were ready to compete with certain teams, and they showed during the season when we played actually good teams, we didn't compete at all. That's one. Daniel Jones is what we thought. He did it. It reminds me of when Leonard Williams was ready for his contract. Right, he performed he had 9 sacks that season, got paid, and then we don't even know where he is anymore. So
he's in Seattle.
Yeah, so it's like Daniel Jones did the exact same thing, and it's kind of funny because Daniel Jones called John Mara, said he wants to be a Giant forever, but Saquon has come out publicly time after time and said, "I want to be a Giant," but they're just. I feel bad for him. Honestly, I love Saquon, but he needs to leave because we're obviously showing that we don't care. We don't care about the people that matter at that point. So our season was just it's exactly what the first Cowboys game was. No hope.
No hope. And I was at that game and we did the flag ceremony. So we had Big Al and I were rushing back to our seats, and we missed the first Giant drive, and we got to our seats just in time to watch the field goal get blocked by Graham Gano. And I loved it because it was pouring rain, and we were all sitting there like this, and I was fun. We were just looking like, I don't think this is going to go well. This isn't going to go well at all. I love it. Hirsch Real says, Emmanuel, you need to start a collection. I think this should be the name of an Emmanuel podcast. Call it Reese's Pieces.
I might have to coin that. I'm not gonna lie.
I like that. Mr. Belford feels sorry for you. You got fleeced for that picture. Davey says, "I will give you 50 cents."
That's a start.
That. No, we're going to raise the money for this. Skylar says, "What a class act!" Shaking my head. Oh, Skylar, did we offend you? Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you were offended. What was the and don't say week 1 because that's too easy.
Yeah.
What was the breaking point for you for the 2023 season where, as a Giant fan, a diehard Giant fan, you sat there and said, this is it. This is going to be bad. And don't say the Cowboy game because
it was week 2 is when we played the Cardinals.
Was it week 2? I don't remember what week we played. It's so long ago. I don't remember what week we played.
Whenever we played the Cardinals and we looked lost, like they didn't even have Kyler Murray at that point. I don't even remember the starting quarterback at that time.
Joshua Dobbs.
Dobbs. So
Josh Dobbs, the astronaut, was the starting quarterback.
Giving as though we won, that was strictly off of pride because there's no reason we should have. We were getting blown out by halftime.
And that was week 2. That was
week 2. So at that point, I'm like, I have no hope for this season. if we can't blow the Cardinals out or come out up 14-0, we can't, because if you look at our schedule, we played. I don't even remember who we played out there. We played the Bills. We played all these teams, and I'm like, if the Cardinals are the lowest. Like that is the least we can do is to beat them. So for that to just spiral out, and then them tripling down on Daniel Jones, he's our quarterback, and then another thing, this gets on my nerves so much. This notion that he's not a good quarterback because his injury history needs to cease. I'm tired of hearing that. He doesn't have an offensive line and he doesn't have any weapons around him and he's injured. So that's the only reason why he wouldn't be a franchise quarterback. What about the first 4 years of his career where this man was subpar? What about that?
That doesn't count.
It doesn't count. And so we're quick to get rid of Evan Neal. God forbid he actually has a good season after 2 years. But Daniel Jones, we're in season 6? And we're like, oh, wait till we get him a receiver and wait till you get him a better old line.
And we got him a tight end this year, and we got him a wide receiver, and we brought back Saquon Barkley, and we brought back Darius Slayton, and we drafted Jalen Hyatt.
It's mind-numbing. And then the tight end we got, everyone's like, oh, we got a good tight end. I don't know if you guys have ran track before or know someone that is fast. When you have a hamstring, that doesn't ever leave. If something's going to be always wrong with that hamstring.
There was a YouTuber that did a video after the Darren Waller trade. And I don't remember his name, but I know he's a dashing, handsome gentleman in his 50s that said that once you have a hamstring issue, if you ever had one and you get older, and he even pontificated about Ricky Henderson, always talking about his hammies as he got older, it never goes away. Mm-hmm. And to your exact point, it doesn't go away. It's always going to be there. And we took a guy that was 2 seasons removed from his pinnacle season, and he's going on the wrong side of 30. I love this by Jeff. In 12 years, when we figure out what we have with Daniel Jones, that $5 pitcher might be a sound investment. Mr. Belfer said, even my Knicks never got fleeced like that in the 90s. About your $5. You know what's funny? I'm just going to pontificate. I'm just go off the track for a second. Not NFL, NBA 2K24. I have it. I've had it for all year, and I never even looked at it. And I think the greatest thing I ever seen in it, and I didn't know they had this, was you could play like an entire seasons or entire careers, even from from teams from like the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Yeah. I was playing the 90s Knicks. I was having a great time. I was like, holy shit. And then they make the screen like you would be watching the game in the 90s. Yeah. And my son comes down, and he comes downstairs and he goes, Dad, the TV's out of focus. I was like, son, it was one of those moments. I used to walk uphill in the snow both ways to school. It's like, son, that's how we used to watch TV in the 90s. He was like, well, I don't like that. But going into 2024, what are your expectations in this draft? Two-part question before you answer. Two-part question. What do you want to do? And what do you think the Giants end up doing in the first round?
Got you. So what I think, I'm going to start with what I want them to do, because this is probably the least likely what they're going to do. I want them to trade up, right? You got extra draft capital, right?
Yep. We have two second rounders,
right?
We have a third, and we have some extra picks. Yes,
albeit we'd have no talent on the team. We can supplement that with a really good talent, and I don't know his name. I think he plays for like USC, or we don't even have to go that route. We can go get this guy from LSU, someone from the SEC at quarterback. Because what I think is going to happen during the season, mid-year, we're going to be up in uproar. The season's going to be over. We're 0-5, and we're looking for a new regime again for the last, 10 years. We've been looking for a new regime midway through their second or third season.
If we fail this time, we will have had this. That would be a failure in technically our fourth regime, because you got to go back to Reese. And then you got to go back to Gettleman with Judge and Shermer, Judge, and McAdoo. So it would be a fourth regime failure since their last playoff appearance.
No consistency. What I think the Giants are going to do, and I've told you this, I think they're going to go neighbors. because they believe in Daniel Jones to give him this albeit receiver that's going to change this man around. And I think I sent you a picture of this of Daniel Jones throwing the ball to Wan'Dale Robinson with a tackle, and it misses. And he gets Malik Neighbors, and it misses.
Yeah,
but you get a quarterback in there, and like all of a sudden it's a completion. I think they're going to go receiver in the first round, and then try to get. We do need another pass rusher, and we need another DB. But I think we're going to go DB in the free agency. I think we're going to do that. So I think
would you bring back a Dory Jackson?
No, not at all. He didn't. He's older and he didn't play up to.
I think he's only like 27. He's either 27 or 28. So he's not as old as people think.
Yeah, but his performance shows that he played a little bit older than what he is then, because I think
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, so I think it was great when we had him in the beginning. It's like Jack Rabbit. When we had Jack Rabbit that first 2 seasons, I'm pretty sure the one season he led the league in interceptions or was like in the top. But as he stayed as a Giant, it got worse and worse. So I think Shane Bone's going to want his guys in there. I know Sean Murphy-Bunting and Christian Fulton are free agents at cornerback. So they've been in his system. So they're trying to get one of those guys.
But the problem is it's not like his corners played well.
Not at all. Not at all.
People talk about the run defense. They always want to talk about the run defense. And my question always after that was, where did they rank pass defense wise?
I'm pretty sure it's like 27. Like it was bad. It was bad. And it's like we're not in a league where we're prominent in running anymore, especially in our division. If we get this guy and we're stopping the run, we go against CeeDee Lamb, we go against Brandon Cooks and their trio. We got AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and if Washington ever gets a quarterback, God forbid, they got Terry McLaurin, who's always killed us. Yep. Jahan Dotson, who I thought was going to have a good year last year, which he did, and Curtis Samuel. Like the run is not the biggest problem. Run is
one of the things I try to explain to people, and you're an intelligent fan, that if you have one statistic that is like, okay, we're 5th against the run, and then the other statistic is we're 32nd against the pass.
Yeah.
What do you think teams are attacking?
Exactly.
They're attacking the pass because it doesn't. You may have a stout run defense, but you also may have a stout run defense because no one's running against you because they know all they need to do is wait for it, throw the ball.
Yeah.
And that's how they lost a lot of games, especially that Indianapolis game late in the 4th and in overtime.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like when Nnamdi was on the Raiders. When Nnamdi was supposed to be this albeit lockdown corner, the Raiders were terrible. Mm-hmm. So they didn't have to throw to his side. They just threw to the other side every time.
And then what happened when he went to Philadelphia?
Yeah, he got exposed. And Chip Kelly exposed a lot of players, but he got exposed.
Chip Kelly exposed himself.
Yes. So it's like, that's great. We're going to finally stop the run in a league where we're passing. Congratulations.
We're a pass league. Rick says, already made our beds with Daniel Jones as a quarterback. G-Man says, when DJ threw a pick 6 with a clean pocket in the Seattle game, I knew it was over. We were at that game with James Williams, and we talked about that. When we saw Witherspoon jump the route, and it was funny, though, because we talked about the fact that Howard Cross tried to say, well, Daniel Jones was getting beaten up all day, and he that's why he made that bad throw. And to G-Man's fault, it was a clean pocket. And then Witherspoon comes out and goes, we know Daniel Jones likes to go to his first read.
He's always been that way.
When a rookie cornerback, comes out and says, I know where he's going, and he goes that way, I think we got a problem. Giants 34 said we beat the Cardinals because the Cardinals, that's the thing. The Cardinals stopped blitzing in the second half. They went to a soft shell zone. They went to a Tampa 2 in the second half, and that's what happened. And Josh Dobbs, the astronaut, came back down to earth a little bit in the second half. So, I mean, it's just, even it wasn't for the Cardinals playing prevent the entire defense in the second half, that would have beat the brakes off the Giants. I agree with that 100%. Hey, what is Jim's? Hey, Danny, job killer Jones. I agree, says Swing Culture. Saquon should leave. I think Saquon should leave. Yeah. I know that he is being a good guy. He's being a good Giant by saying, oh no, I want to end my career a Giant. But at the end of the day, I agree with you. I think he should leave.
I think when his career is said and done, and they ask him about what happened in the Giants locker room and how everything went down, I think he tell the truth, right? Because there's the right thing to say,
Right.
and what actually happened at that point. But since you're still playing, you wanted to keep those relationships. And then it's good.
No, you're right. That's the thing, and that's the thing I always trying to point out. You're never going to go off cuff.
Yeah.
You're never going to sit there and speak what besides Kayvon, you're never actually going to accidentally speak the truth because of the fact that you never know where you're going to end up in your career, and you never know if you burn a bridge. Let's say Saquon burns a bridge with Joe Shane. Joe Shane gets fired. He takes a job, let's say, in Atlanta.
Right.
And somehow Saquon ends up in Atlanta. That's not a good scenario.
I have a question. So with Kayvon and his comments lately, do you think he's trying to low key send a cry for help? Like we're in like this locker room is in an uproar. Like we all didn't want Daniel Jones with making those comments on what was he on, like a podcast or something like that?
He was on Carmelo Anthony's podcast
Great, Nick.
when he said what he said about the fact that we all I always love it because it's the standard Giants talking line. We all believe in Daniel Jones.
Yep.
But, and there's always a caveat, and there's always that long cesura, that long pause. But Saquon should have been paid first.
Because they know
Saquon was our explosive. Do I think that? No, I think that Kayvon's biggest issue is he has moments of clarity and honesty, and it just happens to be in front of the cameras. And I don't think he is trying to do anything subliminally. And we're at 50 likes. Let's get to 70 likes to make a man better about his $5 Daniel Jones autograph purchase. We're going to try to make him feel better by getting up to at least 70 likes before we leave.
it was an investment.
It was an investment, and it went poorly. It's like investing in Enron. It did not go well. So it just went all the way down. But yeah, I think he just has moments of clarity and moments. Certain players have that. They have moments of honesty.
Yeah.
And then they always, and I give Kayvon credit. Evan Neal had a moment of honesty, and it was bad. And he kind of went back on it. And then he tried to explain. Kayvon Thibodeau early in the season had moments of honesty about the Giant. And this is what I understand about Kayvon Thibodeau. Maybe you can explain it to me. Kayvon Thibodeau, basically in the early part of the season when he wasn't playing well, went off on the Giant fan base. Went off on the fact that Giant fans really don't know, and Giant fans don't know anything and all this. But Giant fans still loved him because he got his 11.5 sacks, even though most of them came in 3 games. And then he basically goes off the rails again towards the end of the season, but everyone still is in the Kayvon camp. I don't have a problem with Kayvon, Emmanuel. I don't have a problem with him whatsoever. But my problem is this. It's got to be consistency. And for people that tell me he had such a great season, I always point at Marcus Golden and his 10.5 sacks a bunch of years back. It was a Marcus Golden season.
Yeah.
I mean, but why do you think the fan base rallies around Kayvon so much? But when Evan Neal's has his moment of clarity and moment of honesty, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, I think so. Watching that Mellow podcast, Kayvon, he knows that he's very smart. Like he knows how to play into the fans, and he knows the bottom line is the bottom line. Like it's about money, and he's going to do what he needs to do to get the money. And he gave like a compliment sandwich. Like he started off with like, "Yeah, you guys are great." And in the middle, he gave you guys need to chill. Like you guys really are the worst. And then he came back and was like, but thank you for doing what you're doing. And so when you compile it like that, it's more palatable than just giving to you like a straight. It's like it's taking a shot.
I love the analogy, and I use it all the time, the compliment sandwich.
Yeah.
And I use that all the time because I didn't even think about it because you're 100% right. Kayvon sometimes does that. He says something nice, then kind of has a backward ass comment, and then follows it back up again with something nice.
Yeah.
So you're kind of hoping that he's kind of hoping maybe you forget what he said in, what was said in between this sandwich.
Exactly.
That's actually a really good point. I didn't even think about that. Let's see here. Footsteps, Falco. That is Daniel Jones sometimes. OG says the Giants teammates know Daniel Jones is trash. Again, I don't think anyone's ever going to come out and say that he's trash, but I think to everyone's point and to Manuel's point, we know outside of New York, we know what he is.
Literally, everyone.
Everyone knows what it is, but why do you think there's such blinders on not just within the Giant hierarchy,
Yeah,
but within the Giant? And I'm going to change that question. Why do you think there's such blinders on certain Giant fans? That there is just no rationale or reason to believe Daniel Jones is worth $160 million. We give him $160 million. There's no rhyme or reason to think he's going to play up to the contract, and he doesn't. And he goes 1-4, and he's another failure from those 5 games he played in, or 6 games actually he played in. But you still have a segment of the fan base that defends him like they're his firstborn. And I don't understand. Can you explain that to me? Because I don't get it.
I think it's simple because they're idiots. But for for the long answer,
I don't disagree with that.
yeah, I think the long answer is so we have the regime of the older people that have been Giants fans. So they've been there since the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s. They've seen multiple quarterbacks. But me being 25 and you got younger generations coming up, all we know is Eli Manning, and then right after that, Daniel Jones. So like they were kind of like been fed had a silver spoon because we've seen 2 Super Bowls. We've seen success and what it looks like. They don't understand what it's like to be in have a team that sucks and be in a rebuild. I think that's a big part of it. Like they want him to work so bad, and the organization does a bad job because they reinforce what the fans think they believe. And back to my point, they're idiots. Like if you see football, Brian Urlacher said it like earlier this week. If you don't know what your quarterback is,
3 years, you get rid of him.
You get rid of him.
Yep.
There's no reason why we are in year 6 and still questioning what we think Daniel Jones could be. That doesn't even make sense. Like if you have to question so much and lie to yourself and give you and supplement what you think needs to happen in order for him to succeed, I can give you a multitude of examples where the situations that everyone is saying Daniel Jones needs, other quarterbacks don't have and it succeeded. For instance, CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud does not have the best line. Granted, he does with Larry Tunsil. He does not have a number 1 receiver. Nico Collins just came on this year.
You know, and that's what everyone seems to forget. Nico Collins had more yardage in this season than he had in his first 3.
Exactly. So it's like you see teams like that, and it just like Herbert, right? They fall in love with the name. They fall in love with what he could be. But at some point in time, this potential has to come to fruition. That's great. He's 6'5" and he has the quarterback arm and he can make all the throws. But if the tape shows you he's not doing that, believe it. There's an expression. People show you who they are the first time you meet them. Daniel Jones showed what he was the first day, the first game, the first year, the first everything. But we yet to just believe it. I don't get. Like that's why it dumbs down to them just being stupid, right? Like like there's no intelligence. You don't have to be intelligent to understand like Daniel Jones isn't a good quarterback. He's been red striping his receivers since he came into the league.
Yeah, well,
every time.
There's a thought process between, and you're actually half the age that I am. So there's a thought process among younger fans, and I find this curious, and I'm glad you're here for this. That you can't trade up for a quarterback because it never works. And I keep thinking to myself, well, the Bills trade up for Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
The Ravens traded up for Lamar Jackson.
Yep.
The Chiefs traded up for Patrick Mahomes.
Mm-hmm.
The Texans traded up for Deshaun Watson. The Eagles traded up for Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz was going to be an MVP. The Washington traded up for Robert Griffin. He's the rookie of the year. And for everyone, the Ravens traded up for Flacco.
Mm.
and he took them to a Super Bowl. The Falcons traded up to get Michael Vick.
Yeah.
You know, and for everyone that'll talk about the failures like the Mitchell Trubiskys and people such as that, I mean, and the Sam Darnolds and things like that, there has been recent success that teams trading up for a quarterback and having it work out.
I think
why is there such an apprehension for some of the younger fan base to wanting to trade for a quarterback when in recent history you have 3 guys? One is now a 2-time MVP. One is now in his 4th Super Bowl, or whatever it is now. And then one of them is one of the best quarterbacks in the league. But we don't want to trade up because there's kind of this misconception that if you trade up, something bad will happen.
I think you know this for being a little bit older and seasoned. Young people are very impressionable, right? So when you have so many voices telling you different things, right? And there's a consensus of like that one voice. So like you talk about the Yes Men, so the Tiki Barbers, other YouTube channels that won't be named, they're forcing this notion of you don't start with the quarterback on an NFL football team. You got to build around him first. That is because you're protecting Daniel Jones and his feelings. You start with the quarterback because that's what you build your scheme around. You don't build a receiver and like, okay, we're going to get a quarterback that can throw it this way. No, because he's not the one calling plays in the huddle. He's not the one commanding it. He doesn't say hype. That's where you start. So when I watched WFAN and Tiki was like, you don't start with the body, with the head. Yes, you do.
Yeah,
that is the command center. That's literally the foundation of how you're supposed to, if any structure. When you have a business, you don't start with the lower maintenance people. No shot the maintenance people. You start with the CEO, the founder, the president. That is where you start because that is how you will mold and shape a culture. So for these young people, they hear their favorite people, their favorite giants or their favorite YouTuber have this notion and it's just reinforcing what they already believe instead of understanding like, no, Tim, I love you. I love you. As a YouTuber, I love your thought process. But a lot of people don't like straight shooters. When you shoot it to them straight, they're like, why would you say that? like they want that sugar-coated answer that's going to say, oh, it's going to be okay. No, he sucks. It's okay. We effed up. We have to restart again. But they don't want that. I don't get that personally.
I laugh because YouTube gives you demographics in reference to age groups that watch you. And from the ages of 25 to 50 is like 85% of my audience.
Yeah. And
I love it because like 0.09% of my audience is like 12 to 21. And I love it because someone pointed out to me, well, you don't have the younger demographic. Well, and I kind of think to your point, maybe it's the fact that they would rather have it sugar-coated a little bit. Something I don't want to sugarcoat. And Swing Culture TV put this up, and I like I said, I never shy away from this stuff. And Swing Culture TV is a friend. He went to the draft party with us. So I understand where he's coming from. It. So he says, I'm going to address the elephant in the room. In my experience, there's a segment of the Giant fan base that are racially biased. A portion of the fans prefer a white quarterback and will defend DJ to the end. Do you think that there is a racial element involved? I'm not saying with the majority of the Giant fan base, but do you think there's a percentage of the Giant fan base that Swing Culture is talking about that will defend him because he's white? And what percentage of the fan base do you think that might be?
I think, well, to Swing Culture's point, it could be. I've never experienced that. All the Giants fans I know hate Daniel Jones just as much as I do.
I was going to say.
But to your point, Swing Culture, yeah, it could be because of giving where the Giants are in New York. So there's a lot of blue collar workers, which so happen to be a lot of them white. Not saying there's no black, but there's a lot white. So there could be that notion, right? And I think not only just the fan base, he might be touching on like just the ownership, that it feels like a gentleman's club, which could be very much true. So if there was a percentage, I would say 25, if anything, if that big, that there's like that racial bias, because like I said, there's a new generation of Giants fans, and most of this generation doesn't really see race. I don't want to get into that because it gets real political. I don't want you to get canceled, but
have you watched the show when we talk about
true, but it's this generation.
Do you think I'm really worried about being canceled?
This generation is really, really sensitive and inclusive, so they don't care. Put it like that. They don't care about what you look like because everyone wants to look different now, essentially. So swing culture, there might be a 25% chance. I mean, 25% of people being that way, but I don't think most Giants fans are like that. Because if you ever been to MetLife Stadium, everyone gets along. Oh, you're a Giants fan, and I don't know where this. I feel like there's like only like 10% of Giants fans that really like Daniel Jones, because when I go to MetLife, he stinks. I went to the games, they boo him. They call for Tyrod Taylor. Like, this is not like, it's just a small percentage that just makes it seem like we all love Daniel Jones.
Well, they always say the smallest percentage is usually the loudest. I love the fact, and I told this story just before the Witherspoon interception. I'm at the game with James Williams, and James Williams, they're coming to the line. And just right before the play, right before this happens, they're coming to the line, and James is yelling at the top of his lungs, "Throw the ball! We're paying you $160 million to throw the ball. Throw the ball!"
Mm-hmm.
He throws the ball. Witherspoon takes it back. Touchdown. Ends the game. I swear to God, half the people in the stands turned around and started yelling at James. "You told him to throw the ball." I was like, there are not a lot of people in here that are in love with Daniel Jones.
It's not. It's really not. And I just can't wait, because like now I need to see what they're going to do in the draft. And I'm 100% sure they're not moving. They're going to take Neighbors midway through the season next year. And I don't like to say this, but when we get to that point where we're done, they're done with Dable's antics. They're done with Joe Shane I sent you a graphic. Was it 2021? None of those people are on the team, or they don't play. Nope. Aaron Robinson, I forgot he was on the team. I haven't seen that man play corner for us yet. So it's like Joe Shane. When Joe Shane and Dable, this regime, if they are gone, I just want everyone to have a clean slate and an open mind. To Daniel Jones does not have to be our quarterback.
So. I love this one. Jones hits his fans with the neuralizer from Men in Black after every press conference, after every post game. I mean, yeah.
It has to happen.
It's got to be something. Daryl Smith is in his house saying, "Good morning, fellas. I just wanted to reach out through my phone and smack Tiki Barber when he said that." Cutthroat said some people just can't handle the truth. Yes, he agrees. Zach Attack says the 49ers taking this game 2017. My prediction says Robbie is going to be Chiefs 34-31. Let's see here. We got Cutthroat also dropping the big old super chat saying my black friends defend Jones all the time. I just think that and I think your first point, and we've mentioned this numerous times before, the younger fan base, especially I would say in the age group of like 15 to 24.
Yeah.
You just started following the Giants, don't really know anything but Eli Manning. So they just assume when you draft a quarterback that he all of a sudden is the guy, that nothing will ever go wrong. They never saw the Jets draft like 19 guys. And still not found.
They still don't have their guy. So.
Still don't have their guy. I think in some regards it could possibly be race with some people, sure, but I also think some of the things with the other fan base is just the fact that to your point, they only know the success of Eli Manning and don't know the failures of a Jeff Rutledge. They've only heard the stories about Dave Brown and Danny Cannell and Kent Graham, and they've only heard those stories. They haven't seen the quarterback desert we sat in, with the Scott Bruners and the Craig Mortons. They don't know that. They just know, hey, we won championships with this guy. To Protect says Emmanuel is a great guest. Tim just wanted to tell him.
Thank you.
That's why we always want to bring Emmanuel on.
I have a question. Do you think Joe Shane has full autonomy on the team like he says he does? Because I personally don't.
No,
I don't. I think John Mara is like, Kiki whispers in his ear, like, yeah, go do this. And then, Tim McDonald, his nephew, is in there. So They're all in the room.
I think it's this that in today's, and I think it's a little bit more complicated than that. In
Mm.
today's business world, and football is a business, NFL is a business.
Right.
If you are going to dole out this kind of money and make these type of decisions, which could affect your marketing capabilities, the owner is going to get involved. If you're going to give someone $160 million, I think you're going to need an okay from the owner.
Yeah.
If you're going to give out big payouts to Dexter Lawrence and Andrew Thomas in the same season, I think you're going to need the buy-in of the ownership. So do I think he has the total autonomy to do what he wants? No. Do I think most general managers have that total autonomy? No. I think a lot of them have to go through owners, but I think a lot of them have more power than Joe Shane does to make executive decisions on their own in reference to the direction of the franchise. And we've seen that with Mara, with Eli Manning, and now we're seeing it with Daniel Jones. I'm going to get these last couple questions here. If Dable doesn't win next season, I agree he's gone. I can't stand the DJ defenders. Honestly, makes me want to physically fight them. Lol, I might need therapy. Gino says, for all those quarterbacks were mid, but Eli was clutch and had a great squad.
It's a mixture of both. Like, he had some good squads, but Eli Manning had that it factor. When you gave Eli the ball,
Eli Manning had one of the worst offensive lines in the league. I've said it before. The only time I ever got scared for a quarterback was in that 2011 playoff game against the 49ers, because I didn't think Eli was getting back up, because he was getting murdered in that game.
I think Eli's good. Let's not get that out of the way. Eli was good in under 2 minutes and in the playoffs. Like, when you gave Eli the ball down a touchdown,
oh yeah,
you know Eli's going down, and it doesn't matter who's at receiver, whether it's Ramsey's Barden. Some of you guys don't even know who that is.
Had that big game against the Carolina Panthers. It was only 100-yard game.
Exactly. You got a Dominic Hickson. So whoever it is, you trust Eli to get you that touchdown, or in the playoffs, you could trust Eli to win you that game. Daniel doesn't have that. So to your point, Eli was clutch and good. Some squads were better than others because his offensive line was okay. He had Will Beatty at one point, Chris Nee, David Dale, all those guys.
He had some terrible guys at the end of his career. You know what people forget about 2018, Eli Manning's last starting season? All they see is 5-11. That's all they see. But the one thing they miss out of all this was Eli Manning brought the team back to take the lead with under 2 minutes 5 times that year.
Wow.
Giants lost 4 of those games. Yes, one of them was on the record-setting field goal by Graham Gano, but they finished 5-11. He gave his team the lead with under 2 minutes 5 times, and they lost 4 of those games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how clutch Eli was, even on a bad team. And people ask me, do you think Eli Manning's a Hall of Famer? Because he's 117 and 117. I don't think records win-loss records should be given to quarterbacks. I think that should only be a head coach thing.
Yeah.
But you got a guy that's thrown for 57,000 yards, 366 touchdowns. Yeah, he threw for 244 interceptions, but look at the people that are ahead of him on that list are all Hall of Famers. A majority of them are Hall of Famers. He has the 2 Super Bowl rings. He's got the 2 MVPs. He's got the 4 Pro Bowls, whatever that means. He threw for over 4,000 yards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different times. He's thrown for 20 or more touchdowns almost every year in his entire career. He's thrown for 30 touchdowns like 3 or 4 times. I mean, he's got the Hall of Fame pedigree with the championships. Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? The writers are weird about that, so you never know. But if you take a look at him, and I've said this before, you take away the Manning name, and let's just say you put Emmanuel Reese as the quarterback. And I told you Emmanuel Reese in his 16-year career won you 2 Super Bowls, threw for 57,000 yards, which I think is 10th in the league, threw for 363 touchdowns, which I think is 10th all time. And had won 117 games. You would probably say, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
We got to close it out, Emmanuel. It's late. As always, as we do with our guests, I give you the one final thought.
So all those stats that Tim said is what a good quarterback is. If Daniel Jones had those stats, then you guys could defend him. Daniel Jones doesn't even have, I don't even think he has a 4,000-yard passing season. So just understand that this is a process. It is okay to miss on a quarterback. and it is okay to rebuild completely. That's all I have to say. That's literally all I have to say about it.
Well, Emmanuel, I appreciate you coming in. I'm going to drop you out because I'm going to talk to you for a few minutes. You're always welcome. So make sure you stop on by next time, so we could chat a little bit more during this season. So I want everyone to give a big thanks to Emmanuel. We're only at 57 likes. I wanted to get to 70 for him so we could at least feel some get that suffering out of his body for paying $5 for an autographed Daniel Jones picture. And also go to the New York Giants, our new New York Giants website, NewYorkGiantsLive.com. There will be a GoFundMe page there for Emmanuel so we can raise $7 for him with inflation so he can recoup some of his cash for that money. Emmanuel, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you, man.
Like I said, we'll see you during the off season.
Yeah, you will. All
right, my friend. All right, there's Mr. Emmanuel. Glad he was able to come on. Guilty. What is Guilty says? I hate the hate around DJ from intelligent fans was never about DJ. It was about the money that would be brought up by DJ back in 8-10 million. If they didn't, yeah, that's the thing. You're 100% right. Swing Culture does say Eli's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, thanks, Chris. It was a good stream today. But the hate around DJ isn't because of DJ. It's the hate around the fact that you paid $40 million for a guy that, by NFL standards, had an average season. And actually, we did it before. We took the 32 average 32 quarterbacks, and we figured out what their average was. It was like 3,500 yards, 24 touchdowns, and like 10 interceptions. I can't remember what it was. And then you compare him to DJ stats, and it's like, okay, he's not even average. He doesn't even meet the NFL averages. If you no, it's 31 teams we did. After we took the 31 teams and averaged out their stats, he's not even average. That's the point Guilty's making. That's the understanding. Someone keeps asking me, who do I think is going to win today? I really don't care. I want the 49ers to win because I'm tired of seeing Taylor Swift. I love it. I go back to one of the games that James and I went to, and Taylor Swift popped up on the screen. And James went into a tirade. He goes, what the blank is Taylor blank and Swift? Why is she on the freaking screen here in New York and blank and blank? And I say, James, there's so much hate for Taylor Swift. I'm like, I said, you understand she's having a concert here and they're trying to sell the tickets. Oh, he's like, oh, he goes, that's okay then. Oh, who do I think is going to win? I want the 49ers to win. I'll go with Zach. I'll go 2017. I think the 49ers have a better defense. I think you got to see what Purdy does. You got to worry about Christian McCaffrey. You got to worry about Deebo Samuels. Kadarius Toney's not playing, so it looks like 49ers are at a handicap. I mean, they're at a handicap already there. Isaiah says, Tim, for the rest of Eli's career, he did more than less. He really did do more than less. Of course, we all know that OGR is a Swiftie per James. If you don't know, go follow NewYorkGiantsLive.com. It is the new website. We have daily articles written. Majority of them written right now by me. But if you want to contribute an article, I don't know if the button's up yet, but there will be a link or a button that you click and you could submit an article. So we're gonna have that. So there is going to be a new article up today after I finish this because I forgot to post it. It's going to be the differences between the 4-3 and the 3-4 defenses and some of the misconceptions. So I think that's a fun article to read. And then we got an Eli Manning Hall of Famer article coming up on Monday as well. You also can watch all the live streams here and see all the videos on NewYorkGiantsLive.com. So make sure you stay, if you can't get on YouTube, you can't get on Twitter, because I know certain people have their sites blocked. Just go on NewYorkGiantsLive.com and you'll be able to watch everything there. We're gonna have a bunch of other features coming up. Can't tell you what it is, but we got some cool shit that's gonna be on that website. So make sure you sit there and stay tuned for that. Zach Tim will be having a Super Bowl best Super Bowl party. And he will be posting. But no one's coming over today. We're just going to hang out with the family. We're making it quite simple. Want to thank everyone that stopped in and had, such a good time. It was a great stream. Want to thank Emmanuel for coming in. Want to thank everyone else that had the time to spend with us for the last 2 hours. And as always, this is Tim, the New York Giants Strike Powered by Online Big Blue LLC. You know what, guys? You know it. I'm out of here.